Waterfalls Road Project. Kwara community differ on Waterfalls Road Project. Minimum wage. Labour insists on May 31 deadline as talks resume today. Labour insists on May 31 deadline as talks resume today. Police say banker stole customers 650 million naira. Police say bankers stole customers 650 million naira. Fubara tackles Wike over Rivers heavy debt. Fubara tackles Wike over Rivers heavy debt. Police blitz. Tinubu unveils 21 major initiatives after marathon FEC meeting. Policy blitz. Tinubu unveils 21 major initiatives after marathon FEC meeting. It says here that the Federal Executive Council, after a marathon meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday, rolled out 21 major policy initiatives. The President's advisor on media and publicity, cancelling of airport toll payments exemption for every important persons and ban on sand dredging 10 kilometers from all federal bridges throughout the country, among others. And the FEC meeting, which started on Monday, was concluded on Tuesday in what experts have described as unprecedented in the history of the council. To get more insights on the particular story, you can get a copy of the Punch newspaper, and you'd find it there with the headline, Policy Blitz, Tinubu unveils 21 major initiatives after marathon FEC meeting. And lastly, we'd see here that Nasarawa Specialist Hospital, FMC, sack 4 workers over job racketeering. Nasarawa Specialist Hospital. Look at the Vanguard newspaper for today. Labour insists on May 31st deadline. Minimum wage. FG calls committee meeting. Labour insists if discussions of the new national minimum wage are not concluded by May 31st, 2024, the federal government has summoned a meeting of the 37-member tripartite committee on the new national minimum wage, NNMW, for today in a major effort to beat the deadline. Nigeria gains additional territory 5 times the size of Lagos. Nigeria gains additional territory 5 times the size of Lagos. It comes with a rider that says, as Tinubu receives report from committee. President Bola Tinubu yesterday received the report of the High-Powered Presidential Committee, HPPC, on Nigeria's Extended Continental Shelf Project, with a commendation to the team of experts who worked hard over the years to advance the project. It also says that the project aims to extend Nigeria's maritime boundaries in accordance with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, 1982. And the President expressed his appreciation in Abuja after listening to Omar, Secretary of HPPC. You find the story on the Vanguard newspaper. And here again, some foreign embassies charge in dollars determine own FX rate, EFCC. Some 42-year-old Nigerian in U.S. Drunk driver kills 32-year-old Nigerian in U.S. Edo Guba, Obaseki, APC bicker over propaganda against Oba's palace. Edo Guba, Obaseki, APC bicker over propaganda against Oba's palace. Taxation and Tinubu's misplaced courage by Rotimi Fason. This is an editorial you find on the Vanguard newspaper. Nigeria, UN seek $306 million for food aid in 3 states. Nigeria, United Nations seek $306 million for food aid in 3 states. Let rule of law prevail in Rivers State. Let rule of law prevail in Rivers State. Amend 2024 Student Loans Act and TED Fund Law is also an editorial by Afe Babalola. amend 2024 Student Loans Act and TED Fund law. The monarch has come out to say that misuse of masquerades in Igbo land unacceptable. Misuse of masquerades in Igbo land unacceptable. Lastly, we see here on the Vanguard, the troops kill Shekau's top ally. Troops kill Shekau's top ally, Tahir Baga. Troops kill Shekau's top ally, Tahir Baga. It says here as well that it clears 5 territories enclaves in Sambisa Forest. The troops of 3rd Command Northeast Operation Hadinkai have successfully killed a top commander of the Jamaat al-Asuna, otherwise known as Boko Haram, Tahir Baga. That's the top commander of the Boko Haram, Tahir Baga. The feat was achieved following the continuation of the troops' major offensive at terrorist enclaves in the Sambisa Forest. Sources revealed that Tahir was neutralized on May 13, 2024, when the troops unleashed a major operation codenamed Operation Desert Sanity, the 3 parts of the forest. You find that story on the Vanguard newspaper as we take a look at Leadership newspaper with the headline, Airport Access. Airport access fees, no more VIPs, everybody must pay. Federal government declares. Airport access fees, no more VIPs, everybody must pay. Federal government declares. And we'll also see on the latest headlines, NIWA lacks fund, manpower to regulate inland water investor visa process. FG approves committee to streamline investor visa process. Tetra Pak appoints the BJ West Africa MD. $195 million Deep Blue project. NIMASA vows to review agreement with Navy over visibility. We also see here that hardship, don't tax people earning 100,000 naira or less. CITN urges federal government. Hardship, don't tax people earning 100,000 naira or less. CITN urges the federal government. President of Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Samuel Agbeluyi, has said the government should exempt those earning 100,000 naira and below from paying tax. Agbeluyi stated this while speaking to journalists during the personality lecture in honor of the first female Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigerian President, Mrs. Adebimpe Balogo, organized by the Society of Women in Taxation, held in Abuja on Monday. Agbeluyi said, I am looking at allowing the poor to breathe, as we currently have in the Personal Income Tax 2004 Act. It exempts people collecting 30,000 naira from payment of taxes. But if you consider the inflation that has happened between that time and now, my personal opinion is that I believe anyone earning 100,000 naira and below should be exempted from paying tax. We do agree with you, sir. Alright, moving on to the next story here on Leadership. It says that cybersecurity levy to add 1.5 trillion naira fresh tax burden on businesses, households. Cybersecurity levy to add 1.5 trillion naira fresh tax burden on businesses, households. Lastly, Shatima harps on technology for productive workforce. Shatima harps on technology for productive workforce. And now we look at the Daily Trust newspaper with the cover page that reads, terrorists abduct over 80 in Katsina. Terrorists on Monday kidnapped over 80 people at Yarmalama village in Faskari local government area of Katsina state. And this was barely 24 hours after the attackers had killed some soldiers at the military camp in the area. We'd also see more stories here that JAMB releases additional 36,540 UTME results. Nigerian Daily on the Daily Trust says What intending pilgrims should know before embarking on Hajj. So if you know someone or you are that person, you're planning to embark on Hajj, you need to get your hands on a copy of the Daily Trust newspaper. In there is a Nigerian daily that says what intending pilgrims should know before embarking on Hajj. Farmers urged to plant early maturing crops. Farmers urged to plant early maturing crops. BUK inducts 103 medical doctors, dentists. BUK, Bayero University inducts 103 medical doctors, dentists. LASA unveils program to boost signage registration. LASA unveils program to boost signage registration. Governor Yusuf launches monthly empowerment for 5,200 women. Governor Yusuf launches empowerment for 5,200 women. Shell confirms explosions near gas facility in Bayelsa. Shell confirms explosions near gas facility in Bayelsa. And lastly here we see as well that Southwest Groups rejects Wike's ally as Ogun Osun River Basin Authority MD. Southwest Groups reject Wike's ally as Ogun Osun River Basin Authority Managing Director. Some groups in Southwest on Tuesday rejected the appointment of engineer Chukwuemeka Woke as the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of the Ogun Osun River Basin Development Authority. Woke, an ally of the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Yemsom Wike, served as his chief of staff when he was governor of Rivers State. President Bola Tinubu last week appointed Woke to succeed Olufemi Odumoshu as the MD of Orbada. But some groups in the Southwest where the agency is domiciled have rejected Woke's appointment, saying it regards the principle of familiarity and regional representation. You find this presidency VIPs now to pay at airport toll gates after 10 billion naira loss. Presidency VIPs now to pay at airport toll gates after 10 billion naira loss. And this comes with 5 riders. Says aviation sector gets approval to procure 4.2 billion naira aircraft recovery equipment. Second rider says cybersecurity levy suspended for review. And the third rider says FG to transform infrastructure housing sectors. And the fourth rider says targets 20 trillion naira pension fund for development. The fifth here says to provide 48-hour visa service for investors. And lastly, we see here on the same story that urges Labour not to derail power sector transformation. This day, Nigeria continues to weaken against dollar. Official window 1,520.40 kobo to a dollar parallel market. And then we see here that FG unveils new initiative to boost mining sector, attract global investors. FG unveils new initiative to boost mining sector, attract investors. Obaseki, how we grew Edo's Obaseki says how we grew Edo's economy from $10 billion to over $26 billion in 7 years. How we grew Edo's economy from $10 billion to over $26 billion in 7 years. And this is said by Obaseki. And now more stories. Alleged $140 million bribe. House committee insists Binance claim diversionary. House committee insists Binance claim diversionary. United Nations grants Nigeria additional maritime territory. United Nations grants Nigeria additional. O2 secures $3.5 billion Afrexim Bank funding for Bakassi Deep Sea Port. The Deep Sea Port. Nigerian Tribune, the cover page says, Dam releases additional 36,540 UTME results. Binance, those behind $140 million bribery blackmail will be brought to book, Speaker Abbas. FGI's 20 trillion naira pension fund for infrastructure development. FGI's 20 trillion naira pension fund for infrastructure development. ASU tackles FG, says Nigeria ranks lowest in education budget in West Africa. On budget in West Africa. And now we take a look at more stories here on the Nigerian Tribune. Breaking, it says that ASU threatens no single non-profit organization can tackle challenges within Nigeria educational system alone. Oluwanifemi Brown. No single non-profit organization can tackle challenges within Nigerian educational system alone. Oluwanifemi Brown. Lastly, women journalists hold community engagement on safety at workplaces. Women journalists hold community engagement on safety. But the cover page reads, Nigeria considers compulsory installation of CNG pumps at fuel stations. Nigeria considers compulsory installation of CNG pumps at a fuel station. Pumps that would supply compressed natural gas, CNG. And now we'll take a look at more. It says that stock investors lose 3.8 trillion naira in less than 2 months. Stock investors rush Abia cross polls, and that's that on the Guardian. It still points to be made compulsory at petrol stations. Fubara. My government bogged down by Wike project debt. Fubara, my government bogged down by Wike project debt. Ebonyi Council poll, APC pegs chairmanship form at 25 million naira. I was highest beneficiary of incorruptible judiciary, says Peter Obi. I was highest beneficiary of incorruptible judiciary, says Peter Obi. And then we see here as well that federal government targets, we are committed to your welfare capacity development. CDS to soldiers, we are committed to your welfare capacity development. Ayedatiwa's candidacy, APC 6 transfer of Jimo Ibrahim suits to Akure. A man detained 14 years without trial freed, suffers mental disorder. Man detained 14 years without trial freed, suffers mental disorder. The court of years without trial. He was arrested in 2010 by police over the murder of one Ali Kolo and developed a mental disorder while in Kirikiri Correctional Center. The appeals court took notice of the evidence that the appellant had developed a mental disorder following his long years of incarceration and ordered that he be released unconditionally. You find the story on the Nation newspaper today. And lastly, we see here as well that Ondo Poll court orders Ayedatiwa others to file defense. Ondo Poll court orders Ayedatiwa others to file defense. And that's that on the stories from across the national dailies. We all have to go on a very quick break. And when we're back here, we'll be back here to review the stories, the headlines with our in-house analysts and also our super citizen listeners. We implore that you engage after this break. Just stay tuned. And yes, many thanks for staying tuned. Welcome back to the newspaper review right here on Citizen 93.7. Relate with and then review with our in-house analyst. And to our listeners out there, please to call in on 0818-2222-205, 0818-2222-205 or 090 of our time after marathon FEC meeting. Tinubu unveils 21 major initiatives after marathon FEC meeting. Now, Mr. Salam, what is your perception on the story?
Well, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has shown class, no doubt about it. He has shown that he's unapologetically committed to Nigeria and the people of Nigeria. It has never happened in the history of Federal Executive Council meeting to have a marathon one. Even if it has, or if it had, it's unusual or uncommon for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to, after a marathon meeting, come up with 21 major policy issues. Means that the government is alive and sensitive and responsive to the yearnings of Nigerians. Mr. Bayo Onanuga outlined the 21 policy initiatives, and they are commendable. But our take here is this: it should not end here. Let us walk the talk. Let the federal government implement the policy issues, 21 policy issues, policy initiatives, and at the end of the day, let the ordinary Nigerian breathe and enjoy the bountiful dividends of democracy.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Salami, for that. They're talking about letting the Nigerians breathe. Here's a story on Leadership newspaper where it says, hardship, don't tax people earning 100,000 naira or less. CITN urges the federal government. And according to him, he said that I'm looking at allowing the poor to breathe, as we currently have in the personal income tax, has happened between that time and now. My personal opinion is that I believe anyone earning 100,000 naira and below should be exempted from paying tax. Mr. Salami, what is your take?
See, this development from the Chartered Institute of Taxation in Nigeria, CITN, it shows clearly that Nigerians are now engaging the government constructively on how best to bring succor to the people. Going by the personal income tax net, but given the inflation rate now, the 100,000 of today, I'm not too sure if it is equivalent to the 30,000 of that time. So in view of the fact that inflation has reduced drastically the take-home pay of the average Nigerian, I want to align myself with that position, that whoever earns less than 100,000 or even 100,000 and below should with common sense, and I think it is the right thing to do.
All right, thank you, Mr. Salami. As you said, it's very important because 100,000 naira this day is like holding 5,000 naira in your hand. I'm very sure our listeners would agree with me on that one. And you can call in and let us know what you think about the tax exemption for those earning from 100,000 and below. Is it a good step, or you have your own take on it? Call in on 0818-222205, 0818-222205, or 0903 2229797. You can also stream live with us this morning. Now let's take a look at this story where it says that man detained 14 years without trial freed, suffers mental disorder. The headline says a whole lot, so I'm not going to delve deep into the summary of the story. But Mr. Salami, what is your own take on the story?
I do not think that to release Ali Kolo, who was detained since 2010 in Kirika, and alongside, over the years, he developed a mental disorder, and he was released yesterday. 2010, and we are now in 2024. He has not had his day in court, or at least he has not been released. He should be compensated. One, he should be taken to a rehab and should be given the best medical treatment available. Apart from that, he should be compensated because his fundamental rights have been infringed upon. Not so, why would the state keep somebody for 14 years without trial? Justice delayed is justice denied. I think the government should compensate the man adequately. This is apart from rehabilitating him. This is cruelty. This is man's inhumanity to man. And since we are living in a decent society, it is not too much of a thing for the government to compensate the man.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lamy. You've spoken well. It's not a bad thing to get him compensated. 14 years of his life gone and dusted, wasted, and now he is suffering a mental disorder. Talking about jail time, Nigerian bags life jail in UK for killing wife. Nigerian bags life jail in UK for killing his wife. In a tragic turn of events, Olubunmi Abojunde, 48, hailing from Newmar Abojunde, on November 28th, 2023, the tragic incident saw him bludgeon his wife to death with his son's skateboard, which was discovered stained with blood. Some fragments lodged in Taiwo's head, resulting in severe neck, head, and brain injuries. Presiding over the case, Judge Martin Levitt of the Ipswich Crown Court delivered the somber verdict, marking a tragic conclusion to a family's strife-reading tale. With a minimum of 17 years before parole consideration, Abojunde's jealousy and financial disputes with his wife were cited by prosecuting attorney Stephen Spence. That's a lot of story. Mr. Salami, what do you have to say about this?
Really, this is a very sad one. Pretty sad that one will kill one's wife. This is sad. I've been saying it, and I think I will still repeat it here, that marriage is not for boys. It's for men. And because of that, couples should know that disagreements will come. You are bound to disagree. But a situation whereby one kills one's wife based on disagreement is unacceptable. And of course, our brother should have known that he was living or is living in a civilized society where crime and criminals are not spared. See, where he has landed himself simply because he couldn't control his emotion, his anger, and dead draws part. I will love you. I doubt if you kill somebody you claim to love. Well, the lesson is simple and straightforward. Be more matured.
Very true, very, very important, because that might just bring the end to your life without consideration. Anyways, before we do soldiers, says that we are committed to your welfare capacity development. That is the Chief of Defense Staff and capacity development for them. And he told the president, he told them that President Bola Tinubu Salami, what do you say? Your take?
You know, we are very, very passionate about the Nigerian, and I wish to thank General, and if possible, Snow, for doing his job and to be performing well. For saying that the military and the government, in fact, the government of President Bola Tinubu is committed to the welfare and capacity development of the men and officers. And in actual fact, as they say, it is renewed hope, especially when he added that their enhanced salary is on the way. You can't do too much for the military because these are people that have made up their mind and have signed up their life to ensure that they protect and defend, and for is tackling the kidnappers and the insurgents.
On this day, it says presidency VIPs now to pay at airport toll gate after 10 billion naira loss. Briefly, Mr. Salami, what do you think? What's your take on this?
What is good for the gander is good for the goose. The commoners have been paying. In actual fact, one of my fears whenever I'm going to the airport is this toll gate thing. Have the wherewithal and they have the capacity for the goose. What is good for the gander should be good for the goose. So that is how I would put it, and let's leave it at that. That they too should pay.
Okay, so with your reference to what is good for the goose is good for the gander, it says here on Nigerian Tribune that ASU tackles FG, says Nigeria ranks lowest in education budgets in West Africa, and it calls for increase of education tax to 10%. Wow, the president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, has berated the federal government for paying lip service to funding the education sector, while also calling for an increase of education tax to 10%. And he revealed that the Nigeria ranks lowest, shown by Mr. Salami. Please tell us here what you have to say.
Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, the ASU president, is a man after my heart. I love him because he has been up and doing and is focused too. Clearly here comes a man who is committed to the educational advancement of Nigeria. And to now hear that the education budget in Nigeria is the lowest is a very sad news. In the whole of West Africa, that the giant of Africa is not paying desired and needed attention to education. We should prioritize education, because the only thing that you can give the children of the poor that can help them live a good life and move up the poverty line is education. Is the leveler, is the least you can give them, is the best legacy. Not just education, functional and robust education is what we need. We can't afford to deny the people, especially the downtrodden masses, access to quality education. The federal government is listening. I want to believe there is the need to increase the budgetary allocation to the educational sector. It is the right thing to do. We need to ensure that schools are well funded and that teachers too are well motivated. It is important.
That it is very important that this should be looked into. Here is the final story we'll be looking at before we call it a day. It says that Southwest groups reject Wike's ally as Ogun Osun River Basin Authority MD. Mr. Salami, please.
Well, how do I handle this issue without appearing there is the need? They have rejected Mr. Wogu, who was the chief of staff to Honorable Minister Wike when Wike was Wike was formerly the governor of River State. He was his chief of staff, and now that he has been drafted to Ogun State as the managing director of Ogun Osun River Basin Authority, he took over from Mr. Olufemi Odumosu, and our people are now saying that this is against the principle of familiarity and regional representation. We're Nigerians, and let us look at issues from the perspective of performance and merit. The questions to be asked: did he merit it of our issue? We should not give appointment based on ethnicity or tribalism. No, let the best man be appointed to do the job. After all, if he performs, is he taking it to River State? It's not. If he performs, foremost, the people of Ogun Osun axis will enjoy, and that is what is needed. If he is there to perform and he will perform, I want to believe he's a Nigerian and is qualified, eminently qualified, and it is right to be given appointment in any part of Nigeria, provided it's a federal.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lamy. We'll have to round up at this point. And to our smart citizen listeners, we say thank you very much for staying tuned and also listening through the review for today, 15th May 2024. Mr. Lamy, do you have anything to say before we bring this to a close?
Well, just plead with our super citizen listeners that they should be part and party of this program. We are here because of them.
All right, as he said, please and please and please, we look forward to your engagements. And when I say engagements, we look forward to hearing from you, you calling in and communicating with us as the day goes by. Until tomorrow, do stay tuned to more talk right here on Citizen 93.7 FM. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. Our station seeks to broadcast a broad mix of culture and views with priority given to development programming to enable residents share ideas and opinions.